It's late night talk with Royal Phoenix. Let's get into tonight's topic. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Late Night Talk with Royal Phoenix. I am your host, author Royal Phoenix. Now let's get into tonight's topic. Tonight we'll be diving into part 2 of episode 1, which was entitled, I'm Talking to You, Motherfucker. Communication problems can arise in your relationship, often stemming from assumptions, misunderstandings, or avoidance of difficult conversation. Here are some common issues. Misunderstandings. Miscommunication often results from unclear expressions, differing interpretations of words or tones, or cultural differences. These can lead to frustration or conflict, even when people assume that they understand each other perfectly. Like, for an example, you could say to your partner, "We need to talk later." But the other interpret this as a prelude to bad news when it's about something mundane. Misunderstandings can snowball if they aren't clarified. So the solution would be active listening, paraphrasing, and asking questions for clarity can minimize these issues instead of assuming. When you say we need to talk, do you mean something urgent or just catching up? That is the difference between knowing exactly what your partner wants to talk about and being in a misunderstanding with your partner. The next thing that we can't do is assume the partner should know. This happens when one person expects the other person to read their minds or just know how they feel, what they want, or what they need without explicifying, communicating it. People often assume that because their feelings are evident to them, they must be evident to other people. Now, this is me. I struggle with this a lot. And my wife tells me all the time, I'm not a mind reader. But I want you to be one. I know what the emotions are that I am experiencing. So I would want you to know the same thing. But I know that it doesn't work that way. So we have effective communication going and active listening happening in our relationship so that I won't be feeling slighted because she didn't know that I don't like ketchup on my fries or something as minute as that. Now, when I came to this next one, I almost didn't write it down because I felt like they was attacking me. I felt like, dang, can y'all get out of my business, please? I'm trying to do a podcast to help other people. I mean, I want to be helped too, but then can you get out of my business? But number 3 is avoiding or shutting down difficult conversation. I am avoidance McGee in the words of Tony Baker. I will shut down quickly. If I feel like I'm not being heard, if I feel like this is turning into you did this and I did that, or you didn't do this and I did this, I'm good. I'm gone. I'm over it. We'll just have to put a pin in it and try again another day because I'm not active listening. I'm not communicating. I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting there and I am being very patronizing the whole time. Not good, but it's true. And that's what this podcast is about. About me helping you by helping myself. because all of these things that I will be talking about in this podcast is going to somehow relate to my life, because I can't help you be better if I'm not willing to be better. I was talking to my best friend today, and she was telling me about how she wanted to be a life coach, and she said that she changed her mind because her life was still jacked up. So we have to be able to help others even while we're helping ourselves. And that's what I'm doing with Late Night Talks with Royal Phoenix. Now, the next one is emotional flooding. Sometimes when complex topics are brought up, a person can be emotionally overwhelmed and shut down because they can't process the conversation. This can make them appear disinterested or unengaged when they're actually struggling to cope. Oh, they just need a moment. They just need to breathe. They need just to figure out what's going on. And the solution to that is recognize when emotional flooding is happening. It might help you to pause the conversation and take a break to calm down before returning to the topic with a clearer head. I always say, cooler heads prevail. So if I'm feeling emotionally overwhelmed, then I don't want to talk anymore. I need to process. I need to calm down. I need to, feel my feelings and figure out what they are so that I can govern myself accordingly. Now, the last one is not speaking up. Sometimes people avoid expressing their needs or feelings because they fear rejection, judgment, or conflict. Over time, this can create conflict and distance in relationships. I'm a firm believer in if I tell you something and you don't really give me what I need, then I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. I'm not gonna put my feelings out there for you to stump on them. But I'm gonna give you enough chances to correct it before I just be like, you know what, I'm done with this. So you have to encourage open communication, which is critical. Letting your partner know it's safe to share feelings, even negative one. Foster trust and intimacy. It's helpful to frame feelings as I feel rather than accusing or blaming. Effective communication requires continuous effort, patience, and willingness to understand the other person's perspective. And just like that, the episode is almost over. We have reached the 5th segment tonight on Late Night Talks with Royal Phoenix. Thank you for chilling with me. Thank you for letting me be the background noise to you washing dishes or riding in your car or listening to you while you were working the night shift, the overnight shift. I used to work that shift at Walmart. So just let me be your white noise. Let me be the one that's keeping you up and keeping you motivated to be still on people's job. But this segment is going to be about real situations. So let's just talk about it. I am married. I've been married for a year and a couple of months now. And when my wife and I were dating, we started dating long distance. And our communication was stellar. We, if she called me and I didn't feel like talking, I could say, hey, I'm not in the mood to talk. I'll hit you back later and it wouldn't be no issues. But when I ended up moving here, I came with the complex of, okay, well, now we're living together. So I can no longer say I need my space. I can no longer say I don't feel like talking. I can no longer say that I just need time to myself. And after, getting into countless arguments and misunderstandings, she just told me, like, if you need time to yourself, just tell me. You just shut down, you just stop talking, you just, disappear. But if you tell me, what you need, then I can give it to you. And that is what healthy communication looks like. You effectively communicating to your partner something that they're doing that's causing you harm, and them being receptive to it and saying, hey, okay, since you're telling me that when I need time to myself to tell you, and then you give me that, then I'm going to hold you to that. And it's to this day, if I say, hey, babe, I'm just not feeling it. I need time to myself. I need to decompress. She'll be like, okay, babe, do what you got to do. What you going to do? You're going to get a room. You're going to what? And now that we have a bigger house now, I can just go in the basement where I'm at now, recording this podcast, and just be to myself, play my game, watch YouTube, whatever, sleep, write, whatever I need to do to decompress. Well, we've come to the conclusion of the whole matter tonight on Late Night Talks with Roya Phoenix. And I want to leave you with just some key tips. Become active listeners. Be honest about your feelings, about your wants, about your desires, and about your boundaries. Avoid blaming your partner for things that they should know that you never said. And address misunderstandings as soon as they happen to avoid them spiraling into bigger situations in your relationship. So here are my last words. Next week, we'll tackle conflict resolution, nonverbal cues, and how to deepen intimacy through communication. I thank you for joining me tonight on Late Night Talks with Roya Phoenix. I am your host, Roya Phoenix. Y'all be safe out there. And that's been another episode of Late Night Talk with Roya Phoenix. Y'all be safe out there.